Hi there, everybody. Welcome to my studio. I'm here today to talk to you about my poetry, prose, and short story book, The Ghosts of Nevermore. It's available now pretty much anywhere, but you can order it from Amazon. It's available in softcover and hardcover. And this is a poetry book that is inspired by the works of Edgar Allan Poe. You know, he's my muse. So this is chock full of poetry, prose, and short stories that are directly inspired by the master of the macabre. Um, this is my third poetry book, but this is the first in the series of ghost poetry. I'm actually writing another book right now called The Ghosts of Winterborn. I'm not exactly sure on its release, but it is coming together quite rapidly, so hopefully soon, and it will follow this book. But I'm here today to talk about The Ghosts of Nevermore. So let's just take a sneak peek, shall we? I have to throw on my glasses for this. Okay, so poetry, prose, and short stories inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. There are illustrations and drawings throughout this book by me. There is some other art in here that was used with permission, and it is noted. For example, a lot of the background type of the floral type background, that was not mine, but it is used with permission from the Gypsy Craftery, and I'm very grateful to her for allowing me to use the images in the book. The cover art is by the incredible Laura Sheridan. She was so kind when I reached out to her, and I think that this cover is just perfect for this book. So thank you, Laura. So again, it is there is artwork throughout, and of course we have Mr. Poe starting us out here. Distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Now, if you're a fan of Poe, you know that's from The Raven, 1845. So that starts off the book. There is a foreword here by Shannon Kino. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. She is an incredible poet in her own right and author of Immortalis and Tales of Lacrimosa, two of my favorite poetry books. If you haven't read them, go check them out because they are incredible. So she was kind enough to provide the foreword for this book. And then there's an author note by me talking about how this book came to be. And then we dive right in. So here's the different sections and the poetry that's in here. Now let's talk about the different poems and stories that inspired The Ghosts of Nevermore. Okay, so behind the ghosts were some of Poe's most well-known works: The Masque of the Red Death, Annabel Lee, Tamerlane, To One in Paradise, Eulalie, The Black Cat, A Dream, The Bells, The Lake, Evening Star, Fairyland, Spirits of the Dead, The Telltale Heart, Murders in the Rue Morgue, Valley of Unrest, and City in the Sea, and of course, The Raven. I could not be inspired by The Raven. So, okay, so we dive right into it and begin with some poetry. Again, illustrations throughout. Let me just read you. I'm just going to pick one and read them for you. But I would like to note the short stories. There are 3 short stories in the book. One is titled Memento Mori, and it is based on The Masque of the Red Death. Let's see. There is A Bird's Tale, which combines Murders in the Rue Morgue and The Telltale Heart. And then there is Familiar, which is inspired by The Black Cat, which I'm wearing well, he's white, but it's my little homage to the black cat. Okay, so a poem. Let's get to a poem, shall we? Okay. I just want to pick, I'm looking for one in particular here. I'll just give you a little sneak peek at some more of the artwork that's in here because I think it's kind of cool to show you that. Of course, I want you to go right out there and buy the book. And some of there's a couple pieces in the hardcover book that are different than the paperback book, and it mainly had to do with the way the book was set up. So I had to move some of the artwork around or add a piece or two here and there that are not in the paperback. But it's all still very nice. Okay, let me see. Let's get to. Okay, I think I've got one here. I'm going to save that one. Okay, this is inspired by The City in the Sea, which was written in 1845, and this one's called Asleep. No one saw the sparrow or heard him over the vespering din, as he took to his throne above them, anointed by their sins. Yet still they called upon him with their apathetic tripe, and worshipped in unconscious volition as though a sacred rite. Harbinger of peace, they spouted through their salty, fervent tears, and built effigies in his honor to wall their misplaced fears. Then they went about their business, resolute in their faction, while death ruled above them, masked in duplicitous satisfaction. But lo, a stir is in the air, as salty tears turned scarlet red, and mouths of graves sprang open, calling for the dead. No one awakened from their complicious slumbering sleep, as hell greeted his flock before rising among the sheep. Then death, now finished, stepped down from his golden throne, and hell smiled upon him for the reverence he had shown. And taking his rightful seat with an austere delight, he bid death a grateful adieu and dismissed his evanescent flight. Okay, how about another one? This is one of my favorite poems by Poe is The Bells. And this one is inspired by the bells. This is the artwork behind it. You can see the horses and the bells from the sleigh. The horses looking a little bit ominous here with their white eyes. I love the bells and how it just builds and builds and builds and crescendos. So I tried to do that a little bit here. So this one's called Disquiet, inspired by the bells, 1848. All is well, and then I feel a tingling swell. In the distance, a pinprick pricking as though tiny bells are ring, ring, ringing. Under my skin, or perhaps in the catacombs of my mind, the deepest recesses remain captive to its chime, calling me back to the rhyme of madness long forgotten. That chime, that no longer distant chime, is like a living vine wrapping my spine with the ghostly fingers of yesteryear. And now the chime echoes, a tenebrous, monotonous, droning echo, breaches the surface of its grave like a rippling rush of a clamoring, cantankerous train. A train roiling over my brain, a train I can no longer contain, howling through my veins, toiling in its whistling wail, the scream I can no longer curtail. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, this is chock full of influenced poetry, directly influenced by Poe, and then there are what I call the others. They are not poems that can be tied to a particular poem, but they were written with kind of Poe in the back of my mind. So they are also kind of skewed throughout here. Here's one called Nevermore. When words have lost all meaning and shadows curtain your mind, Let not your demons sway you, nor root their nests deep inside. Let the waves of pain crash over you like the sea upon the shore. Let the salt peel away the layers born and cast them out to nevermore. The ghosts of the past need not anchor you in their depths. Okay, and here's the image from that. So I hope you will pick up my book, The Ghosts of Nevermore. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu get together, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Much love.